You're listening to an AppleVis podcast.
Hey, AppleVisers, Tyler here, with a quick tip for how and when to start your Mac in safe mode. Safe mode is a feature of macOS that prevents certain software components like login items, third-party drivers, and legacy system extensions from loading at startup. If you're having trouble starting your Mac or have some other issue that's tough to pin down, an incompatible item in one of these groups may be the culprit, and thus starting up in safe mode can help you rule that either in or out. In addition, when starting in safe mode, a light check of your startup disk is performed, similar to what happens when running first aid in Disk Utility, and your system caches are cleared, which can potentially improve the performance and responsiveness of your Mac if such files have become corrupted over time. Safe mode is a feature that's existed in macOS for a long time. The problem for VoiceOver users prior to Apple Silicon was that, as part of this mode, the audio driver was disabled, and thus the Mac could not provide any audible feedback, making VoiceOver effectively useless. However, with Apple Silicon, audio is supported, and thus VoiceOver users can use macOS in safe mode as if they were using it in any other boot state. If you have enough usable vision to see the screen and want to start an Intel Mac in safe mode, you can do so by restarting it or turning it on while holding down the Shift key. For a Mac with Apple Silicon, you'd shut it down, hold down the power button until the grid of startup disks appears, interact with your startup disk, focus on Continue, route the mouse pointer to it, hold down the Shift key, and click the mouse to start in safe mode, which I'll demonstrate momentarily. If you're not sure what kind of Mac you have, when in macOS, choose About This Mac from the Apple menu. If you see something like Processor X gigahertz, Intel Core something, you have an Intel-based Mac. And if you see something like Chip Apple something, you have a Mac with Apple Silicon. So I have an M2 MacBook Air that's shut down. So to demonstrate, I'll hold down the power button.
Boot picker, window, select disk, grid has.
Okay, so now here I am in the select disk grid. I'll interact.
In select disk, grid selected disk named Macintosh HD2 group.
Yeah, right.
Selected disk named Macintosh HD group.
Macintosh HD, that's the name of my default startup disk. It should be the same for yours unless you've changed any settings. So I'll interact with Macintosh HD.
In selected disk named Macintosh HD group 2 of 3.
Yeah, right. Continue.
Continue button. You are current.
And this is the point where literature intended for sighted users would instruct you to hold down the Shift key and click the button. So I'm going to route the mouse pointer to it with VO Command F5. That's VO Command Globe 5 if you're using a Mac with a touch bar.
Continue button.
Okay, I'm going to hold down the Shift key.
Continue in safe mode button.
And click the mouse and let go of the Shift key. Give it a sec.
Safe boot. Friday, February 9th.
Okay, enter my password.
Login window installer prop. Enter password application.
Okay, and for some reason, when starting in safe mode, it makes you log in twice. So I'm going to do that now.
Finder, desktop, Dropbox alias. Actions available.
Okay, so here I am. I've started my Mac in safe mode. Now, what you do at this point depends on why you started your Mac in safe mode in the first place. If you restarted to complete maintenance tasks, by the time your Mac starts up, those tasks have completed. So at this point, you can just restart your Mac to get back into the normal boot mode. If you're trying to isolate an issue, you can try reproducing it when in safe mode. And if it doesn't occur, it's likely the fault of an incompatible login item, third-party driver, or legacy system extension. At this point, you might want to go into System Settings, General, Login Items, and delete any login items you have, particularly if they're from third-party apps. In addition, you may want to update, remove, or reinstall third-party drivers or legacy system extensions. Then when restarting into macOS in its normal boot mode, then you'll know that something in one of those groups was causing the problem. The next step after that would probably be best to re-add each login item, third-party driver, or legacy system extension until you identify the one that's causing the problem, and then contact the developer of that item to let them know of the problem and specifically mention that it does or doesn't occur in safe mode. which can help them narrow down their troubleshooting process. So as you use your Mac in safe mode, it should work similarly to how it always works, because the things that are disabled with safe mode on Macs with Apple Silicon are most of them pertain to either legacy components or third-party software. So to see if your Mac is booted in safe mode, you go into System Information, and boot mode is listed under Software Overview. I'm going to demonstrate that now. Command-Shift-U for Utilities.
Utilities window.
SY for System Information.
System Information application.
Open.
Open. System Information, MacBook Air window, table, row 1 of 52. Hardware, selected.
Hardware, and this section is expanded. I'm going to collapse it with the left arrow.
Row 1 collapsed.
Go down.
Network.
Collapse that.
Row 2 collapsed.
Go down again.
Software.
Software. I'll VOJ to get into the text.
In text, System Software Overview.
And press down arrow a couple
New line.
times.
System version, kernel version, boot volume, boot mode, safe.
Boot mode safe. If I was booted up in macOS as normal, the boot mode would be listed as normal. So to get out of safe mode, I'll just restart my Mac.
Finder, Dropbox, menu bar, app log shutdown, restart ellipsis. Authentication. Are you sure?
Friday.
Okay, I'll log in.
Finder, desktop, Dropbox alias.
Okay, so now I've booted up, and it should be in its normal boot mode. To check, I'm going to go into System Information.
Utilities window, System Information application, open. System Information, MacBook Air window, table, row 1 of 52. Hardware, row 1 collapsed. Network, row 2 collapsed. Software. In text, new system kernel boot volume, boot mode, normal.
Boot mode normal. This is how it should be, so if you're in safe mode and you restart, it will revert to its normal state.
Focus.
So that's how to start your Mac in safe mode. It's not something you'll need to use often, but after many, many years, I'm glad that Apple has finally made this so that voiceover users can use it with the default system audio drivers and no need for an external sound card. So because it can be useful in troubleshooting certain types of issues or performing macOS maintenance tasks, and thus I hope you found it helpful if you need it. Peace.
This AppleVis podcast has been brought to you by the community of applevis.com for the latest in resources and tips and tricks to get you the best experience from your Apple device. Visit www.applevis.com.